Okay, sorry about that. Technology sometimes can be a bit tricky, but you're back. So today we are looking at Go for No. We are doing a book summary of Go for No. And Go for No is a very, very exciting book. I stumbled on this book when from the kit. It was one of the books that was registered in the kit. And I looked at it and I decided to read it. And let me tell you, it's amazing. It's an amazing book. It has changed a lot in my business, especially where prospecting is concerned. And I believe it's also going to change a lot in your business as well. What is the book all about? What is the main gist of the Go for No book? Now, the main gist of the Go for No book is that it actually turns no's from obstacles to assets, hence reduces the anxiety associated with hearing no's. Yeah. And there are some two key benefits that you get from this book, Go for No. The first key benefit that you get is that you are able to add a skill. You're able to add a skill in your arsenal. This skill is able to help you to succeed, not only in the business of Neolife, but in anything else that you want to do out there. You'll be able to be successful when you apply the skills that you get from Go for No. Then, the book also removes restrainers from your business. In your business, you'll have things that will restrain you from succeeding, and you'll also have things that will accelerate your success. Now, the fear of hearing a no is actually a restrainer, because many people that join our business and not do so well in our business, the chief problem is not the products, it's not the opportunity, but it's actually the fear of hearing the word no. When you fear hearing the word no, that's like trying to drive a car and you have one leg on the accelerator and one leg on the brake. So you cannot move very far. You cannot move very fast because you are restraining yourself from moving forward by fearing to hear the word no. Yeah. Now, there's some questions I'd like to ask you. What does no mean to you? What does no mean to you? What happens when you hear the word no? I know that is everybody reacts differently to no, but majority of people, when they hear no, their immediate response is to stop. They don't want to do that again. When you talk to somebody about the business, they say, "Oh, I'm not interested. That thing never worked. So-and-so tried it. It didn't work for them. It cannot work for me." Immediately, you want to stop. You feel bad. You take it personally. And you say, I don't think this is for me. Let me try something else. So that's the first thing that people do. They stop, they get discouraged, they want to give up. Yeah. And this actually brings in another element of fear of the word no, because when you take it personally, you feel like the person is victimizing you and doesn't care about you. He's your best friend, but you said no to your opportunity. Then you don't want to try talking to somebody else because that person disappointed you. However, one of the things that you're going to see in this book and you're going to learn is how to hear the word no and welcome it and be excited when you hear somebody say no to you. Yeah. And that's where we want to reach, because when you get to a point whereby when you hear a word no, you get excited, then it means that you will be unstoppable in the real sense of the word. And you will grow from strength to strength. You'll be the best in our field and in any other field that you'll want to participate in, because you'll have dealt with that huge monster in the house, which is the word no. Now, the truth of the matter is this: to succeed in life, in anything, not just in your life, success and failure go hand in hand. Yeah. And success is the other side of a coin. A coin has two sides. It has heads, it has tails. And heads, we can call it success. Tails is failure. When you flip that coin, it can either land on heads or tails. Now, when you understand that, then you know that anytime you're flipping a coin, then you'll find that it will either be either heads or tails. And tails being failure should not shock you, because you've flipped a coin, you've thrown a coin up in the air and it has landed. It can either be heads or tails. When it is heads that person has said yes, we get very excited. But when it is tails that person has said no, we get pretty discouraged. And that does not make sense, because you are flipping a coin. You threw a coin in the air, you're expecting it to land. And you know very well a coin has two sides. It will either be a yes or a no. And when it is a yes, you celebrate. But when it is a no, you get so discouraged, you want to quit the business. Now, we need to get to a point whereby that whether the coin lands on heads or tails, whether the person says yes or no, whether the person says maybe or let me think about it, we should not get either into too much celebration when the person says yes, or too much of mourning and regret when somebody says no. That's where we should reach. Now, the truth of the matter is, most people do not fail nearly often enough. We need to fail more. And that sounds odd. Why should you fail more? You see, when you fail, you're able to learn, you're able to grow, you become a better person. You learn what does not work. And that is the essence of success. The person who created the light bulb, Thomas Edison, failed more than 10,000 times in trying to create that light bulb. But he never gave up. And he was asked, why did you keep trying to do it even after you failed so many times? He said, I never failed even once. I now know 9,999 times how not to create a light bulb, and one way how to create a light bulb. And what does that mean for him? It means that he can fix a light bulb 9,999 times. 9,999 failures of light bulb he can sort out, because he knows the one way that a light bulb can work. And you see, that's a much better person than somebody who would, if he had tried the light bulb and gotten it at the first stroke and succeeded, he would not know anything about light bulbs, and he would have been useless in repairing any problems that people may have encountered when they are trying to create a light bulb, which means his innovation would not have gone far, because it would have just been a fluke. But because he failed so many times, he became that much wiser, he became better, and that's why he went on to become one of the richest men on earth. Now, the secret to success: instead of avoiding rejection, increase it. I remember one time there's a young girl that you were training with. I think she was in Grace Ngatia's team, or Lydia Arojos, I'm not too sure. And this lady came to me, and she was crying and saying, oh, I've talked to everybody and nobody seems to join. I have filled forms and nobody's joining. And I mean, I think this thing is not working for me. So I told her, I think your problem is you have not filled enough forms of people who have not joined. That's your problem, because I can see you have like 5, 10 forms that you have filled. So I went back and I told her, let me bring you the forms that I have filled myself. And my forms were more than 100. And I told her, the reason why you have not sponsored is because you have not filled enough forms. Can you go back and fill more forms of people who say no, or people who just fill and disappear, and keep filling those forms? Because if you're doing 10 forms, if you have only 10 forms of people who have filled and disappeared, then you're not in business. You're not doing it the right way. I had more than 100 forms filled. Out of those 100 forms, several people had joined, but majority had not joined. And you see, the rule of the thumb is this: out of 10 people, 1 will join. That's a rule of the thumb. And not only in network marketing, not only in your life, in anything that you do. Even if you're looking for a spouse and you talk to 10 people, only one will be interested. That's a reality. Anything, the averages are the same. If you're selling insurance, if anything that you go out to do, just remember that fact that you have to talk to 10 people to get one person interested, regardless of what you're doing. Okay. Now the story of Go for No is by a guy called Richard Betker. And Richard Betker had a long career in sales. And the first challenge that he got is that the dad was a super salesman. And he was selling cars. And one day he called him and he told him, come, I show you how to sell. I've never trained you in selling. So the dad called him into a room. And he proceeded to actually start showing him how to go about selling. And what that essentially meant was that he actually picked up the phone, took out a list of prospects. Actually, he went to the yellow pages and he picked out some prospects of people who could buy cars from them. And he started calling. And in 5 minutes, he had gotten a deal where he was going to sell, I think, more than 20 cars or something like that. And Richard there and then knew that he can never do that. He was so intimidated by the dad. So he decided to leave where the dad was staying and move to another location where he would not be bothered by sales. He didn't want anything to do with sales. So in this new town where he landed, he went to look for a job. And as luck may have it, the easiest job to get by or to get was that of a salesperson in a shop, in a retail shop. And he went there and he became a salesperson again. But he was comfortable because this time he didn't need to look for clients. They came to the shop, they found him there, and they were captive audiences once they walked into the shop, and it was easy to sell, or so he thought. So one day he was selling and he wasn't doing very well. He was actually not one of the best salespeople in that shop. In fact, he was doing poorly. And he was struggling not to get fired. So one day their boss came to visit the shop. And he found Richard there and many other salesmen and sales ladies. And Richard was given a chance to talk to the first person that walked in as a customer, because he was the one who was number one in arriving in the shop. They had that kind of tradition that if you got there number one, you'd get a chance to sell to the first person that walked in. And the first person who walked in was a very rich guy, somebody who had quite a bit of money. And Richard was so excited because that was the very same day that their sales manager was actually visiting. So he wanted to show him that he's a good salesman so that he doesn't get sacked, and maybe he can get some perks or some promotion. So the guy came in and Richard took him around, and the guy bought stuff. He bought a belt, he bought a trouser, shirt, t-shirt, cufflinks, all those things. It was a men's shop. And he spent about $1,100. And $1,100 was, you can do the translation, that's more than 100, maybe 100 and something thousand shillings. And Richard finished that sale and set the guy on his way, and the guy left. So Richard was so excited, and he expected the sales manager to congratulate him for making somebody buy products worth more than 100,000 shillings. And the manager did not congratulate him. And Richard was getting a bit apprehensive and discouraged. Finally, the manager asked him a question. And first he gave him a compliment. He said, wow, that was a good sale. And Richard said, thank you. And then he said, let me ask you a question. What did that client say no to? And Richard was a bit upset because he thought that he had done so well in that sale, and that you just get accolades and recognition from the manager. And Richard actually thought about it and realized that everything that he put in front of that client the client bought. So he said to the manager, he never said no to anything. He bought everything I gave him. Then the manager asked him a question. And this question also blew my mind because he said, how did you then know that this person was through buying? If he never said no to anything, you put a trouser there, he bought, you put a shirt, he bought, you put a belt, he bought, you put shoes, cufflinks, everything he bought. So, and then you finish the sale and he went. So he asked Richard, how did you know this client had finished buying? And Richard thought about it and realized that the only reason why he stopped putting things in front of the client after they reached of 100,000 shillings was because personally he had never gone into a shop and bought products worth $1,000. So anybody who bought things worth $1,000 in terms of Richard's estimations and reality, that person had already exceeded the sales of the day that an individual should buy. And the figure would scare Richard and he would quickly close the sale and go. Now, the manager said something profound. He said, I watched you sell. And I'll tell you something, Richard. Your fear of no will be your undoing. You can be a great salesman, but your fear of the word no is the one that is stopping you from being the best salesman that ever walked this planet. And I thought about it. If you put a trouser in front of somebody and he says no, then you should put another one. You should keep on putting until he says, no, those are enough trousers. Then you go to belts. And you should keep on putting belts until the person says no. But what do? When you sell somebody a Trianen, you want to stop, you won't recommend, you say Trianen, Calmag, Omega-3, like 2 or 3 products and 4 products, and you stop there. Because according to you, one should only buy 4 products per condition. But there's some leaders that I know in the business. When you sit down with them, they'll give you a program and they'll tell you this program, you need to take it for 6 months. And one program, one purchase will cost you 30,000 shillings. And you need to take it for 6 months consecutively. And the people end up buying. In fact, I know one leader, Bosire, is very good at that. He sits you down, he tells you, you need to take this product for 6 months, and each program will cost you 30K, and you need it for 6 months to fix this problem. And then he goes and says, if you're going to take it once, then don't even buy, because it will not even work for you. And people get and they start using the products, and they buy the program for 6 months, and the results they get are amazing. I know he talks about TNN, you should take 6 TNNs per day. So that tells you that we should not get into the pocket of the client. We should not prejudge anybody. We should not believe that this person can or can't. We should not believe that this person cannot afford. We should present what we have and what are the requirements, and be honest with the client. And if he says he cannot get the full program, then you can rationalize it and buy maybe 4 items or whatever items. Because one of the things that happens is you'd rather get somebody buy 1 item to start with than buy 0. Somebody who just buys 1 item has started the purchase. When he sees the results, he's going to buy the rest. So don't dismiss anybody because he says, I cannot buy the full program. Rather buy him 1 product, which is TNN or Pro-Vitality. Then later he can now buy the rest. That is if he doesn't have the money. But when you're negotiating for the deal, recommend the full program and tell him, honestly, you need to take it for 4 to 6 months consecutively so that you can get the results that you're looking for. Because getting that disease or that condition did not come easy. You spent money, you ate the wrong way, you did all these things to harm your body in most cases, and that's why this condition is there. Or alternatively, you may not have done things to harm your body, but because of genetics or because of life in general, pollution and all those things, you have this condition or this disease, and we need to fix it. And to fix it, you need this program, and you need to take it for at least 4 to 6 months. That's what Dr. Fatma says, 4 to 6 months. and you're able to consecutively, and you're able to deal with this condition. So when you are honest with that person, then he commits to take it for 4 to 6 months. Then that person will feel better. He'll be so excited, and he'll get consistent and permanent result. Rather than telling him, oh, just take and you'll feel better, without being honest. And then that person takes it for a month, and he says the condition hasn't gone. So he feels like the products do not work. But it's because he didn't take it for long enough. Yeah. So that was the beginning of Richard's experience. And that day he went home and he realized there are only 2 words that were there that were stopping him from greatness. And those 2 words were N-O, no. And I'm here to tell you one thing. The difference, or what is stopping you from going to the next level, is those 2 words, no. What is stopping me from going to becoming a 5-diamond director is the word no. So I want to share with you some models that have been put forth in that book. There are 2 models of success. There's a normal model that we know, and then there is a one that is being proposed. The normal model that we know is this. There is you and me standing. Let me say me, myself, or you can put yourself. You can draw it. If you're taking notes, you can draw yourself. Take a page and just go to the center and draw yourself. Draw an image of yourself. On the left side, put the word failure. The left side is the word failure, and you can put under failure the word no. Failure is equivalent to no. On the right side, there is success, yeah? And the success is the word yes, yeah? Now, this is a traditional model that we have, whereby you have failure on one side and success on the other side. And people believe that to be successful in life is to run away from failure or from hearing no, and you run towards success in terms of hearing yes. Yeah, that is a traditional model of failure. You run away from no, and you go for yes. And in the course of the day, you're trying to avoid people who will tell you no. So if anybody, you look at this person, he looks, hey, this one is too successful. This one will definitely say no. You delete that one. You won't talk to that one. You look at another one, this one is my peer, we are the same level, he might laugh at me, he's my colleague, you won't talk to that one. Then you look at somebody, this one is lower in life than I am. In fact, I'm more successful than he is. He looks up at me, and this one I can bully. So this is the one I'm going to call. So you end up calling people who are lower than you in society, and people who are not the right kind of people for you. Because the best people for your business are people who are at your level and above, not below. People who are at your level and above. Those are the best people. And those are the people who will come in and they'll be self-motivated, they'll be excited, and they will actually make the business a success. They have the purchasing power, they can buy the products, they can afford the products, and they will grow with you. Yeah. Even if they don't do the business 100% as a business, they'll be consuming more than 100 points every month. But because you fear the word no, you fear failure, you avoid successful people, you go for the people who are quote unquote not as successful as you are, where you have confidence and you feel that this one I can bully, or this one I can coerce into doing the business. And that is a model that will stop you. That is a model that will give you limited success, because the people you're going to get are people who may not go as far or as fast as you are doing. Now, which is the correct model that you should have? The correct model, according to the Go for No book, is this one. So go back again to the drawing. Draw yourself. Now go to the page. Now this time, don't draw yourself at the center of the page. Draw yourself at the beginning of the page. That is on the left-hand side of the page. And then in the middle, put the word failure. In the middle, put the word failure. And then next to failure on the right, put the word success. Now, what does that model talk about? It means that you are at one end of failure. To get to success, you have to go through failure to get to success. Now, that is the right model for success. Here I am. For me to succeed in this business, I have to go through failure. I have to go through the no's to get to the yes. I have to experience the friction, the rejection. I have to accept it. I have to embrace it. I have to get excited about rejection. And by doing that, then I'll go to the area of success. Because we all know this, that 1 out of 10 is going to join. So don't look for the 1. Look for the 9 that will give you the 1. So when you go prospecting, your goal is this. Every day your goal is this. I'm going to talk to 10 people so that I can get 10 no's. And out of the 10 no's, 1 will become a yes. But I want to put a disclaimer here. Sometimes you'll talk to 20 people and they all say no. There is nothing wrong with that. You're still in the game. Sometimes you'll talk to 30 people and they all say no. But then after that, you get 3 people who will say yes. And that's how it works out. It is still 1 in 10. And even if you talk to 30 people and they say no, and then you get 1 person who says yes. And then there is 1 person who went and talked to just an individual, and by fluke, he got a yes. Who is better off? The answer is very simple. The person who has talked to 30 people and they said no and gotten 1 yes is far much better than the one who talked to the first person and got a yes. The one who talked to 30 and got no and still kept going has developed a skill of marketing. He has become a leader. He has become a seasoned marketer, and he has learned the game of numbers. And when he gets a yes, he has planted so many seeds before getting that yes, that the next month and the other month and the other month, from the seeds he has planted, the no's he has gotten, he'll get people coming up saying, I need a product, I need to join the business, I have a friend who is not well. So suddenly he has a customer base, not just 1 person who has joined, but he has created a customer base. He has referrals from these people, and his business is on the way, he's moving. And his immediate sphere of influence, they know he has joined the business and are recommending him all over. But this guy who had a fluke and sponsored 1 person, the first person he got, and nobody else knows that he's doing business, only that 1 person. And that will mean that he doesn't have a skill and he will have limited success. So always think of, I am planting seeds. I am planting seeds, and the more seeds I plant, the more successful I get. In fact, I normally tell my downlines that when you talk to people, you should don't feel so rejected when you hear a no. In fact, our work is not to hear a no or a yes. Our work is just to talk to people. Let people get to know what you're doing. That's all. That's all you need to do, and keep moving. When you do that, you have planted so many seeds, then they start chasing you, and they are looking to actually join your business. Okay. Now, let me quickly go to what are the strategies that this book puts forward as I finish. The first strategy that comes out from the Go for No book is number 1, goal setting. Goal setting, the first strategy that is recommended in the book is goal setting. Now, the traditional goal setting format is whereby I say every day I want to get 3 people who will join my business. That's setting what we call yes goals. Every day I want to get 5 people to buy my products. Those are yes goals. And there's nothing wrong with yes goals. But what happens is, when you get a yes goal, when you aim to get 5 people to buy the product, or 5 people to join your business, what happens is, if they don't join, you get so discouraged that you don't continue that day. You feel that this thing is not working for me. But what the book suggests, this is a radical change. The book suggests that you don't set yes goals. You set no goals. So you say, because you know that if I set a goal of hearing 10 people say no, I'll get 1 person saying yes. And since I want to get 1 person saying yes, then what I need to set is that I need to set a goal of hearing people 10 no's. So I wake up every morning and I say, my goal is to get 10 people to say no to me. And you go out to look for 10 no's. And what will happen is that when you're looking for 10 no's, you will triple the number of yeses that you're going to hear. But if you don't set a no goal, what happens is this: you wake up in the morning, the first person you talk to says, yes, I'm interested, he buys a product. Now, there is a tendency for us to start celebrating. Once you hit your yes goal, you celebrate. And how do you celebrate? You stop doing what gave you the yes in the first place. You go buy yourself something nice to eat, or you just relax and you say, wow, that was a great day, and you celebrate. But you see, now you have stopped doing the activity. So tomorrow you'll have a problem even getting somebody to look at the business, because now you stopped doing your business yesterday when you got a yes. Instead of doing that, set a no goal and say, every day I will not go to bed until I hear 10 people tell me no. So you need to get to a point whereby if you go to bed and you've gotten 9 no's, you look for the most difficult person who will tell you no so that you can get your final no. Yeah? Okay. Now, the next strategy is this, is what we call the SW rule. SW rule. It's SW, 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 SW. What does that mean? Some will, some won't. So what? Someone is waiting. I'll repeat that. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone is waiting. Now, what does that mean? It means that you should keep calm. Don't get too overly excited when somebody says yes or no. It's just part of the game. Like I said, yes is one side of the coin, no is the other side of the coin. So if somebody says yes or no, don't start celebrating too much when he says yes and you stop doing the basics, and don't moan too long when they say no, that you stop doing the basics. My upline always says, your previous success or failure is your greatest enemy, because when you celebrate too much, you don't work. When you get discouraged too much, you don't work. So you see both sides, you're actually shooting yourself in the foot. And some will. Yes, when you talk to 10 people, 1 will join. So some will. Some won't. Yes, if you talk to 10 people, 9 will not join. So some won't. Then the next thing is, so what? So if somebody doesn't join, so what do? You leave the business? It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. If you remember the parable of the sower, he planted seeds, and some of the seeds started growing and they were choked off by the thorns. Some were eaten by the birds. And if you decide to chase the birds for eating your seeds, then you leave the field. You have quit. But you see, why should you quit? And you knew very well as a farmer that when you plant seeds, some seeds will be chewed by birds. Some seeds will be chewed by weevils. Some seeds will be chewed off by the thorns or the weeds. Yeah. I mean, if you know that if you're going to plant 10 seeds to get 1 growing, and you knew that from the word go when you started planting, then why should you quit because the seeds did not grow? Have you ever heard of a farmer who quit because he planted seeds and they did not grow 100%, so he quit? It doesn't make sense. Yeah. And that is what this strategy is all about. That some will, some won't. So don't get emotional. Usikuwe na makasiriko sana. Don't take it to heart too much. So what? Someone is waiting. Now, the best part of this strategy is there is always somebody waiting to join your business. You just need to get to that person. So if you talk to somebody and they say no, finish off with him, run to the next person, because someone is waiting for you. Now, some of these people who are waiting could be people that you talked to a long time ago, but they've never joined the business. Those are people who are waiting for you, and you need to get to them as fast as possible. So go back to the people that you've talked to but have never joined your business. Talk to them again. Those successful people that you're scared of talking to, talk to them again, because they are waiting for you. They may not have said yes the first time, but they are waiting for you. Circumstances change, and we're going to see that in the next strategy. Now, the next strategy that the book brings forward is don't take rejection personally. And I've talked about it. I've mentioned there that Don't over-celebrate the yeses, and don't moan too much as far as the no's are concerned. Now, get yourself off that emotional roller coaster whereby when you get a yes, you celebrate too much. When you get a no, you get so frustrated, so discouraged, you cannot even talk to somebody else. How do you get yourself from that emotional roller coaster? By simply focusing on getting no's. When you focus on getting no's, when you're looking for people to tell you no, then you will not be discouraged when you hear no. In fact, you will celebrate it. I've been doing this, and let me tell you, you can talk, you talk to anybody. You're not scared of talking to anybody. In fact, when they reject you, you get excited because you've achieved your no goal and you move to the next person. So don't get overly emotional when you hear a yes or a no. Be like a doctor and always say next, someone is waiting. Now, the fourth principle that you get, no does not mean never. It means not yet. No does not mean never. It means not yet. Now, if you understand this, prospecting becomes easier. So you never throw away your name list. I have name lists that I started in 1996 and they're still there. And I still pick them up and talk to the same people. And I get one or two people who say, yes, now I'm ready. I'm going to do the business. So always go back to the people that were there in the business before, but they slowed down. I know there are some people on this call who are there in the business before, but they have rejoined again because the upline went back to them and was able to talk to them again. And this time around, they were ready to do the business. So go back to those people that were there before that you talked to when you started the business. They said no, talk to them again. Why should you do that? Statistics have shown that over 60% of people who join any kind of business or buy a product will only buy after saying no 5 times. 60% of people who buy a product will have said no 5 times before they actually say yes. That means that if you keep persisting, hearing a no, then you'll finally get a yes. Yeah. But how should you follow up this person? Don't follow them up asking them, oh, when are you paying that money? No. Don't keep on asking that. They might ask you, did you lend me money in the first place that you keep pushing me? But you can follow up in a non-business-like format. How do you do that? By sending them an invitation for a meeting, by sending them, inviting them, sending them a positive quote, just calling and saying, hi, how are you? How have you been? It's been a while. How is the family? And you leave it at that without mentioning about the business. Or wishing them like today is Mashujaa Day, sending a message for Mashujaa. If you send your customers a message for Mashujaa, I guarantee you tomorrow you'll get an order. Or the same day today, somebody will say, by the way, Calmag is how much? Because people want you to care for them. People love somebody who checks and looks in on them. Now, the sad part is that over 92% of sales people usually quit or stop following up somebody by the 4th follow-up. In fact, majority, over 44%, they will only try once. If the person says no, they forget about him. And that is a recipe for failure because successful people only say yes after a long period of follow-up. And some of the successful people we have on this call will tell you, they did not join the first time. I had Mrs. Magiri's testimony. She didn't join the first, she didn't really take it seriously the first time. So you have to follow up somebody until the person clicks about this business, but do it with skill. Don't be pushy. Don't be abrasive. Don't put the person off. Use some skill and invite him to meetings or give him a positive thing or just say, hi, how are you doing? And that kind of thing. Or wish him Mashujaa Day. Today, all your prospects, just send them a message. Happy Mashujaa Day. They are waiting to join the business. Send them that message. And they'll be like, hey, by the way, ulisema price ya kujoin imechange. How much is it? And you'll get a kit from there. Okay. Now, so now increase the number of no's and you'll triple the number of yeses. When you persist, you are buying some real estate in the mind of the prospect. Always remember that. When you persist, you're buying some real estate in the mind of the prospect. You are staying in his face, and finally he will say yes or no to the purchase, and eventually he'll come around and either give you a referral or buy your products. Now, there are 5 failure levels that I will quickly go through as I finish. The first failure level is of that person who is scared of hearing a no. He's so scared of hearing a no. And this is where everybody is at. Majority of people are there. And when they fail once, they quit. They don't follow that person again. Now, that is a level whereby it's a hit or a miss. And that is a level whereby you may not sustain yourself too long in the business. Level 2 is much better. You become a bit tolerant to the word no. So you say, I'm going to get these no's, but I will not quit. Nakaro hongumu, I'll do it until the end of time, until I get yes. But you don't like the no. So you avoid no's. You hate no's and you avoid them, but you try to tolerate them. It's better than number 1, but still you'll not get radical success and it will be painful to move. Level 3. Now, fewer than 5% of people get to level 3, but you can develop yourself to that level. Level 3 is where you desire to get no's. You will develop the wantingness to get no's. This is whereby you say, I'm going to get 10 no's every day. And if you go to bed, you've not gotten 10 no's, you wake up again and you look for the 10th no. And there's a story that is given here by Richard Fenton, and the wife is on was talking in this case, about a lady who had gotten 9 no's. She had a goal of getting 10 no's. And she said, okay, there's this neighbor of mine who is a medical doctor, and medical doctors are so radical, they are so negative. Let me go there and just talk to him so that he can tell me, no, I'll have my 10th no. She had tried him before, and I'll go home and sleep. So she went to the doctor and she talked about the products. She didn't expect anything from him. She expected a no. The guy said yes. And as the recording was being done, he was a most powerful distributor in her network. He was doing more business than anybody in her team. And she got this person because she was looking for her last no of the day. The beauty about going for no is you get very high quality prospects. The chicken list, the people that you fear are the people you start with, because they're the ones who will give you the quickest no. And when you're looking for the no, they surprise you and they give you a yes, and your business escalates. Now, level 4 is whereby you realize that if failing is good, then you want to fail faster and better and bigger. Yeah. Now, how do you fail faster, better, and bigger? You fail faster by putting products on your status. If you put products on your status, more than 100 people will view, none will say yes. Sometimes the whole day goes, you put 3 or 4 statuses, nobody's saying yes. Tomorrow you put again, the next day, a whole week, and nobody's saying yes. Now, a lot of people are viewing what you're doing, but they're not saying anything. You're scattering so many seeds and you're getting so many no's, because when somebody keeps quiet, that's a no. But eventually you start getting people buying and getting referrals and people picking that and say how much. And before you know it, you're making so much profit from your status. I know people who just survive on their status. They don't have a shop. They just put things on their status and they sell. But you have to get used to putting statuses, and nobody is buying anything. They just look at it and they move on. I know distributors, they put once or twice on the status. 1 or 2 people ask questions, they get the price, they don't buy, then they quit. They say, those people are asking, they're not buying, so me, I'm not doing it again. That is, you need to learn that you need to fail faster, fail bigger, and fail better. Failing faster is going to Facebook and putting a post and then boosting that post. A lot of people make inquiries, maybe 1 or 2 buy or make an inquiry, but you keep on boosting until you get traction and you get people buying your product. Or going to Instagram and putting a post. That is failing faster, that is failing bigger. Now, for big no's, look for big clients. Look for big clients, look for successful people. Go for the big no, don't go for the small no's. Go for the people who are successful, who will give you a big no. Don't prejudge. I'm not saying the people who are not successful will not do the business. Go for everybody, but especially start with the successful people in your name list so that you can get the big no's, because from there you'll get referrals and your business is going to grow faster than when you get people who are not as successful. Level 5 is failing exponentially. Now, failing exponentially means failing with your team, and that's what your leader, Grace Ngatia, is doing here. She's enlisting you over in the journey of failing faster and failing bigger. So that if you have 20 people in your team and they're all out there and everybody has said, every day, I want to get to hear 10 no's. They will triple their success rate and they'll become successful. That is a strategy that has been employed by Safaricom. Safaricom has a lot of salesmen and women. So same for Kenya breweries. They have a lot of salesmen and women. India has a lot of salesmen and women who are paid a salary or commission. They go out every day and they hear a lot of no's, and they've been trained that out of 10 no's, you'll get 1 yes. So you can imagine if you have 100 salesmen and women, and they're each going out hearing 10 no's, that means that in a day, you're getting more than 1,000 no's. But on the same breath, on that day, you're getting at least 100 yeses. And if you're getting 100 yeses every day, it means by the end of the month, you have more than 3,000 yeses that have come into your business. You see, by failing exponentially or getting your team to fail, or you training where you are right now, whether you are a distributor, manager, senior manager, if you get your people, the downlines that you have, you train them about go for no, the principles of go for no, and they start failing like you are failing, like they start experiencing the no and going on with the no, then what happens is that you are failing exponentially. And as your team fails exponentially, then the number of kits in your team will increase, the number of sales will increase, personal PV will increase, and your team will be that much more excited because they're getting results from the business. So that is it on my side. That is just a summary. I know it took a bit long, but it's also a very, very exciting book, and it has quite a number of principles that are beneficial to all of us that you can take away. But in a nutshell, what is the takeaway that I recommend? Number one, no is a good thing. Go for no. Set a goal for the number of no's that you want to get in a day. My idea is this: set a goal to get at least 10 no's if you're doing this business part-time. If you're doing it full-time, you can go for more no's than that. But set a goal to go for 10 no's. Then the 10 no's that you're going for is not just for prospects who can buy products, but also the distributors, those who have slowed down, they are not doing the business, they're not excited. Go back and talk to them again. That is a no that you're getting. Send them a message. They may or may not get back to you. That's a no that you're getting. So don't just restrict yourself to prospects who are just joining the business. Like I always say, work the business inside out. Yeah, start with the people who have slowed down in your business. Talk to them, send them a message, send them a Mashujade message, and then move on now to the prospects. Yeah. And we are going into a weekend function. It will be a major event starting 22nd, 23rd of this month. That is Saturday and Sunday. I want to recommend to you that apply the go for no principle in inviting for this particular event. Go back to the people you have talked to who are negative. Go and get some no's there. Aim at getting 20 no's from those people per day. Go to the distributors who have slowed down. Get some no's from there. A customer who has not stopped buying, get a no from there. And when you aim at doing that, you'll find that the people that you'll get at KICC, you'll get the biggest number of people that you've ever gotten at KICC. And those who may not come for KICC will be like, sorry, I can't come for the meeting, but do you still have Calmag? Do you still have Omega-3? And they will actually buy from you. Or they will say, I am now ready to do this business. I was not too serious last time, or it was not the right time for me. Maybe I was going through some challenges, but now I'm ready to do it. Let us go for it. I'm coming back. I want to know what is happening. So that is it on my side. I thank you so much, Grace, for this particular session. I'm going to stop there. I don't know that we have time for questions. If we do have time, we can actually handle some questions, but I'm going to stop there. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Wow.